Okay, so thanks everyone for staying here. I will call you the survivors. Basically, it's a hard time for many of us without a coffee, so I appreciate this. I expect not to speak too fast and not too slow, so apologies if I say something in not standard English. I'm going to talk about how confidential computing will be supported by the European Union in a new project that we are working from OpenNebula. Let me see if it works, this change. Okay, perfect. Who am I? So you might wonder. I'm not so popular lately. I work as an OpenNebula, as an open source community manager in OpenNebula. I'm also a Mozillian, more than 20 years of experience in doing stuff in the open source ecosystem. That's why I once a Mozillian, always a Mozillian, and now I'm advocating for an open source sovereign European cloud. I also like to say, and this is the time that I didn't put it, that I did podcasts when it wasn't so trendy like it was now. Now I'm not doing podcasts anymore. I proved my point on that. But let's talk about a little bit about how the European market it is right now. I saw this today in a SAP talk, and I was surprised that people use this graphic. This is the market share until 2022. As you can see, but it didn't change too much. As you can see, the market size, it's increasing. Companies are adopting open source cloud, but the providers, the market share by the European providers are decreasing. Obviously, if you think about it, there is no way to compete with Google, Amazon, and Microsoft if you are, for example, OVH. For saying a European company. I have friends over there. But basically, this is the situation, and the market will continue growing. So this is a kind of a problem that we have right now. And there's what we call a market opportunity from different companies right now. The situation is that the investment that the European companies can make compared with what the US counterparts or the Chinese counterparts can make, it's estimated in more than 11 million euros. I don't know if a gap of 11 million euros annually. Okay, so it's a little bit complicated situation where the market is completely unbalanced. Okay, I know that in some of the cases we are not all European. I'm not a European. I'm actually from Argentina, but I live in Spain, and I know that there are not all European here, probably, so it's not relevant. But since we are in the European Open Source Summit, I think this is relevant. So basically, there are some voices from the European Commission that it's talking about the necessity of an intervention in the market. Okay, the intervention in the market means that public funds, but also a project behind. Okay, I don't agree with the political views of these people that I have here in the picture, but they are the ones that are commenting that the cloud market in Europe is having an issue right now as it is. Okay, so it's basically Thierry Breton and Ursula von der Leyen that says that we need to change how the market operates in Europe. Okay, where we can invest or where we can go in terms of technological investment in the cloud age. Okay, so I'm not going to explain what is cloud age, so I'm not going to explain also what is confidential computing, because I assume that we are in the right place to not explain those things. But basically, cloud age, it's moving the cloud where the user is, okay? So giving this sense of immediacy, you know, that it's something that it's connecting fast, that information, data stores are not located, the data centers are not located in, I don't know, let's say Amsterdam, we are in Vienna, or in another place in the US, okay? So the antennas, all the connectivity is close to the user. So basically what they are estimating, and this is something that it's estimated by the European Commission, is that there will be the necessity or the investment to be able to compete, that Europe needs around 10,000 nodes for Cloud Edge, okay? So again, how this will be possible in terms of public funding, the project investment, and all that. Well, basically, this is another thing that if you attended other presentations, there are this project, which is the IPSAI CIS, which is the UE Next Generation Cloud Infrastructure and Services, where the European Union is proposing as a way or as a project to solve this technological disadvantage. All the 27 members decided that, well, voted, negotiated, all those things, that we have a unique opportunity to address the issues, and we need a kind of a new infrastructure for the European market, and this is what IPSAI is getting into action. Okay, so basically the IPSAI in cloud, the project on cloud, it's formed by 12 members, or those are the countries. I have a colleague that knows all the countries by memory. I cannot tell you. I have to look at the picture. But basically, it's there will be a data center Cloud Edge Continuum, where we can create a framework between different providers, companies, projects, and all that, all based in Europe. Okay, this is going to be the investment, the biggest investment in terms of fundings for a public project. It's in total, more than 2.7 billion euros, almost 3 billion euros between public and private investment. And it's expected that at some point, and if the project continues and goes quite well, actually the project is already established and has been announced in December, it expects that by the end of the project, the total investment raise up to 5 billion euros. Okay, so between public and private investments. This is a little bit of the overview of what it will cover IPSAI. WS means work streams, so you have different layers of work stream, where you have the data center, you have the Cloud Edge capabilities, you have the development part, which is data processing, and then the use cases. We are already in a couple of use cases around smart cities, interconnectivity, AI, and all that. This is complementary to that, okay? So this is basically, this is not that we don't know how to work with. This is something that we are already deploying and working on. And this project, this European project, it will be promoted or developed by more than 100 companies in Europe. Okay, so this is something that is starting to happen. This is just to give you context a little bit, because I'm gonna be in 2 slides on the confidential part, but basically this is a little bit of what it's the platform expected. Okay, we are going to cover public cloud, private, on-prem, 5G edge, so all the spectrum of the cloud and the telco communications. Okay. This is a little bit of I'm going to talk next, which is the project that it will include confidential computing. Okay, this is another project subsidiary of the IPSI, which is One Next Gen, which is also starting to be implemented with several companies, not only Spanish companies, also different companies in Europe. SAP is there as well because, like I say, this morning I attended a presentation by one guy from SAP that talks about the IPSI. And what's the purpose of the talk is what is confidential computing in One Next Gen. So basically, confidential computing right now, the data in traffic is always an issue. I'm not discovering anything here. The connected devices, like in the panel before you mentioned, the IoT devices are increasing and are more and more connecting to the network. There's an hyperscaler control. We know about them. And there's no trust in public cloud. So for terms of saying what this project will solve, situation is that the hyperscalers, I'm going to name them Google, Amazon, well, AWS, which is Amazon, are controlling or are starting to pay attention to this situation. They control the market, and they are planning to prepare solutions to address the confidential computing. You know, there are some TE right now that are developed by Google. Google announced AMD CEV CNP in April 2023, AWS CEV SNP in May 2023. So there are some interest right now from the hyperscalers to address this situation and offer a solution, which is okay, it's good, okay, but it's not European. And that's the problem on this whole project, okay? These solutions to the confidential computing are obviously proprietary solutions and implies to be in a vendor lock-in scenario, silos, basically, that you cannot move from one provider to the other. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm saying, I look like I'm talking as an expert from the confidential computing, and I'm not, and I'm surrounded by people that are with more experience than I, and I'm sorry if I say some obvious things on this. But the Cloud Edge Continuum, it's right now, as it is right now, is characterized by a large number of different providers with constrained resources. Well, yeah, the devices have constrained resources. There's an heterogeneity in the platform. There's a lot of devices distributed geographically in a random way, not in a consistent way. So the problem is that the cloud edge infrastructure represents a challenge in itself, okay? So there are a lot of protocols, a lot of security issues, many things, okay? So this confidential Cloud Edge Continuum will require a new generation of management platforms or highly distributed infrastructures, okay? So this is a little bit of the proposed architecture overview, where you can see the edge nodes connecting to different scenarios, to different devices, and the data center, obviously in the center, and different providers, okay? So the idea is to create a framework that everyone can connect to that framework, and that you don't depend on one single provider. The architecture will adopt a disaggregated management model. So the management and the monitoring will be on each cluster, and let's say the providers will be able to offer and check how those clusters operates individually, okay? So again, there's a little bit of the framework where it won't depend on how the device is or where the device is, but where we can offer these type of solutions through a confidential computing and confidential applications, okay? Again, sorry, I'm a little bit putting different stuff here, but the management framework will include an isolation where you can load a VM into the Continuum. Also measurement where you can be able to measure once the VM is being isolated to measure the entire image. Secrecy on accepting and storing secrets, and the attestation, which is mentioned before about the trust with other VMs. Okay, so this whole framework will be able to communicate and connect with all these things into mind. About confidential VMs, this is the solution proposed. Mainly because it will increase the control in public clouds. It will increase the cryptographic isolation. And this is something that we are not saying, this is something that it's also discussed and something that the European Union is talking about that. And this, you can quote me, but all clouds will be confidential in 10 years. That's the expectation that this project is having, and it's investing on this because of that final bullet point. All clouds should be or will be confidential in 10 years. So with this, the organizations will be able to run confidential and virtual apps anywhere, will be able to deploy a consistent deployment and management experience, and it will be able to do this in small clusters, on-prem, on 5G base station, on windmill farms, retail shops, anywhere you can imagine, okay? So the idea is that the main novelty of this approach is the portability and interoperability. That the framework will bring the on-premise, cloud, and edge locations together under one single infrastructure management. I'm reading this, sorry, because it's a little bit grandiloquent. And this will really allow organizations to treat infrastructure as a commodity, okay? So to finalize a little bit, and I know that I'm I'm being very fast. The idea behind this proposal of the One Next Gen is to give users control, to give organizations the control of the whole infrastructure, a framework that will enable end-to-end confidential computing and bring confidentiality to the entire data, data cycle life. Because, as you know, the problem is that we can put confidential computing on the VMs. We can put confidential computing anywhere, but when the data is in transit, there's no confidential computing, and that's the situation that this wants to address. Okay, so basically with this, the framework will be able to provide and offer to a complete experience to different providers, allowing to be vendor neutral, and also taking into account the security of the data and also the sovereignty of that data, okay? Since most of the cases, we know that the hyperscalers takes that information out of the European Union, for saying away. The idea is that with this, all these laws and security concerns and national security concerns could be addressed. Okay, so again, this is a little bit too European for saying a way, but this is the proposal that it's included on the new IPSAI, which is, like I say before, the biggest open source project as it is right now. On open source, I mean. So yeah, basically this is a little bit what it's founded and the situation that the acknowledges that we have. We are working with the European Union. This is basically for the acknowledge, and yeah, basically. Sorry for saying a little bit. Yeah, I know that there will be a lot of questions. So yeah, sorry. Thanks.
So Hannes,
yeah, I don't know which one because they both raised at the same time.
What was the amount of money per year that the European Commission invests in this? For how many years?
There's a initial investment of 1.2 in public fundings for the first 3 years, which is distributed over the whole period. It's 1.2 plus 1.4 in private investments, meaning that I'm, as a company participating, I also need to invest on this project.
Thomas.
The slide just before this, you had the first and the fourth bullet, which were complete control to, no, complete control to end users. Was the first bullet.
Yeah.
And the last bullet was
Yeah.
maybe multi-provider, vendor-neutral, cloud edge, combination with this. Taken together are very, very ambitious.
Yes, I know. This is, to be clear, this is already presented to European Union in terms of how the project will be developed. The good thing is two things on this. The mother project, for seeing away, which is the IPSAI, already takes into consideration the vendor neutral, avoiding lock-in situation, scenario, whatever you want to call it. The one next generation, which is on terms of the cloud edge continuum and what it will affect this project, it will also offer this situation. And I forgot to mention about this. Everything will be on open source. All the development will be open source, and the plan, which is a little bit more ambitious, is to have and use open standards. I mentioned that we have companies, private companies like Ericsson, SAP, and all that.
Right, but Ericsson is
Yeah, Ericsson, yes, but there are more than 100 companies, so it's going to be a little bit challenging to present this in a way that they understand the open standard approach and the open source approach. It's not yet in the market in terms of we are working already on that. We are the IPSAI has been announced and approved on December, and the one next generation has been approved and announced in April or May, something like that. So we are in the first stage of this plan. How that evolve, it's going to be complicated, it's going to be difficult, but that's why we present these type of things, to make people aware that this exists, and not only us as a company have some concerns about the the open source and how the framework will work, but also to be sure that if you're a developer in working in confidential computing, you know that the European Union is investing on this right now. So it's a little bit game changing for seeing a way.
So just a little bit more, because what I see
A little bit contradictory. You say a little bit contradictory.
No, they're not contradictory. They are taken together. They are very, very challenging in the sense that if you want to give complete control to the end users, you need to give them the keys to the verifier.
Yeah, that's part of the technological piece that I'm not sure 100% how that will work.
Confidential Computing Consortium, as one project which is open source, which is based on open standards, which is called Verizon,
Mhm.
which is an attestation verified. So you
Yeah, yeah.
want to come and
Yeah, probably yes. No, probably that's why also we present this type of things here to see if we can create some opportunities of collaboration. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Also, apologies for the people that are not from Europe in terms of, okay, this sounds a little bit first world problem as well, because we are talking about only, this is, the planning eventually is that this framework could be used worldwide. Okay, but I remember that in the panel before you mentioned about the situation about different the data information, where it's stored, where it's located, and how it's treated in the confidential computing process. The idea right now, as it is for Europe. Then US will come and say, okay, this is the amount of money that I have. I want to have the same situation, but only for US. How that will be negotiated, I'm not 100% sure, because first of all, this needs to have some success. Yeah.
How do you balance the different interests? For instance, if you have a public or a freely available multi-vendor, multi-provider infrastructure that gives users and organizations complete control, I'm assuming, over their processes. What will the European security agencies say about that?
Okay. Complicated question. Yeah, you have a point over there. You have a point over, obviously. This is in terms of more to avoid the vendor lock-in and be more vendor neutral, rather than me as a final user. I mean, it's like the same situation that you have with foreseeing away with a Linux computer. You have the full control if you want. Foreseeing away, you have almost full control. You can install whatever you want, but how many people are going to take advantage of that piece? You know. So here in the use case that. Let me check. In the use case that I have it here, the thing is that the use case situation is that I don't depend on where I'm located. I don't depend on who is my internet provider or where I have I pay the connection. It's independent of that.
Yeah, well, I think what will necessarily have to come out of that is that you will have to regulate use cases. So there will be lawful applications of this technology that provide the necessary interventions for the security actors.
Okay.
Please talk about that separately, possibly off camera.
Yeah.
There's another question.
Probably yes.
You have a question?
Nope. Okay, perfect.
And thank you very much indeed.
No, thank you
I'd
for.
like to say the Confidential Computing Consortium, we have a lot of European members, and we'd love to have you engage in.
Okay, yeah. And thank you again. Apologies, this is my first time delivering this talk, so I was kind of a little bit of not practicing too much. I didn't have the time, so apologies and thank you.